Hello everyone, this is my 14th video of continuing um, with meditation twice a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and doing yoga every day for last 14 days. And I know in my last video, one of the things I talked about or shared was one of my goals is finding someone special, but I take that back. I'm not going to make that a goal. That is something that I'm going to set as an intention. What I am making my goal is um, continuing what I've been doing, which is meditation and yoga, but also keeping in mind that I'm going to find something that gives me gives me a sense of purpose. I signed up for acting classes, and that's something that I'm going to do with full commitment, as well as um, I am going to start a new project where I am going to photograph yoga instructors on their yoga poses, and that's something that I'm going to make my purpose, which is to generate awareness uh, amongst people on what yoga can do and how it can impact their not only mental but both mental and physical health. And this is going to be my purpose. I'm going to share my story with yoga instructors, yoga teachers who I'm going to be photographing, and that's a project that I'm going to pick. That's something that I'm going to make my purpose. And I've realized when you find a sense of purpose outside of what you do, outside of work, I think that's when you start to find more joy. That's when you start to find meaning in about uh, day-to-day life, which is finding purpose, and that is going to be my purpose going forward. One thing that I have been also reading quite a bit is how difficult it is when you're learning a new skill. And there was an NPR podcast that I was listening to earlier today, TED Talk, just about how to get good at learning something new. A lot of people that are learning something new, at least when I look back in the past, there were times I decided to learn a new instrument. I remember going and buying a guitar and learning guitar for 15 days, and then I gave it up. I took tennis lessons. I I did it for a few days and then I gave it up because my heart wasn't in it. But I think people quit not because their heart isn't in it. I think people quit because they're uncomfortable with the idea of learning a new skill they're not used to. They're not used to failing, or they're not used to setbacks, or feeling of uncomfortable, being uncomfortable in the beginning when they're learning a new skill, because that's what it feels like when you're learning a new skill. It doesn't feel comfortable, and I think that's the biggest roadblock. The moment you start becoming comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, I think that's when you start to make progress. That's when you realize that you're doing something right, because it is feeling uncomfortable, and that's the sign of progress. So while I've been doing yoga and meditating, those are new skills that I'm working on, and it is starting to feel a little bit better when I do yoga, but it is still very it still feels very uncomfortable. It's something that's not in my nature, and I'm keeping this idea or this fact in mind that it will feel uncomfortable. I am feeling also very uncomfortable in my job, which I started only about 2 months ago. It's a brand new job that I never have done in the same way that I'm doing it now. And all of those things I'm keeping in mind, that it's going to feel uncomfortable in the beginning because this is a change, and change, when you're learning a skill, that's a change. When you're moving to a new city, that's a change. And change in itself is a skill. And if we could learn to be patient with it, if we could learn to be comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, I think that's when we are going to stick to whatever it is that we are learning. And that's when the real change comes. So that is what I'm after. I wanted to share that. My sleep definitely has gotten better as a result of meditation and yoga. If you are someone that this is helping, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear.